Hello, everyone, and welcome to the call today. I am super excited for today because I love this lane that we're going to be in. So I want to bring up someone who is one of the people that got me into this world that you guys are in of what we do, and someone who, along with her sister Andre, are the co-owners of Vibe. But Miss Megan Lynch is here. Are you ready to say hello to everyone? Welcome you to the stage. Where are
Yes,
you at? There you
yes,
are.
ma'am. I am right here. I'm right here. All right. Let me move over here a little bit so we're not so glossy. Welcome everybody to the call. Thank you for joining us. First of all, I want to give it back to Miss Tony Marek. She is our COO and brand guardian as well. She transitioned from our chief marketing officer into the COO role because she does know everything about this particular business, but more importantly, I mean, she has all the facts when it comes to this business. She is a definitely a team player, one of my closest friends. We've spent our 10,000 hours getting to know each other. So I just want to give it back to her. And if you guys can go into the chat and just give her some love, she is in the front of the house, the back of the house, and both sides of the house as well, making sure that everything is running efficiently. And then also, I want to give it back to my co-owners. Andre Russell is the tech genius behind really getting this engine started with Vibe. When we got together, Andre said, let's do it one more time. Let's do it the right way. Let's make sure that we put the people first. And then also, I'm going to allow my sister, because she's on here, if she wants to introduce herself. But she's my womb mate. We just had a birthday. We spent the last 47 plus years together. And I am just so very grateful for her because I do call her the CEO, the Chief Everything Officer, because she spends the majority of her time in the back of the house. You guys don't see her out front that often because she is, busy making sure that this entire industry, this entire engine is running effectively. So I do want to give her a moment. I'm putting her on the spot, but I saw her pop in. Miss Reagan Lynch, are you out there, ma'am?
Yes, I am. Hello, everybody. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you, Megan. Thank you to Andre, to Tony, and the rest of the corporate staff. I'm super excited. I don't get on like I need to because I am pushing buttons in the background and usually on the phone. I'm still working, but I had to get on this call today because I'm super excited about the educator that you're going to be bringing forth. And I feel like it is, a big part of my life, what she's going to talk about and what she embodies and what everyone's going to be able to learn from her over the next eternity that Vibe's going to be going on. So I'm just excited to be here, and, you guys showing up is super important. I know we all have lives and we have other things that we're doing, and I'm going to make it a point to be on here more. Normally I'm on here, but I'm going to make it a point to just have it playing in the background. Sometimes I have to turn it down. I'll go back and listen to the replay. So definitely encourage your team, your partners, if they miss anything, to go back and listen to the replay. So that way they're getting all of the goodness that Vibe has to offer firsthand. And that's all I have. I'm just grateful to be here.
All right. Thank you so much, Reagan. We're grateful to have you. And listen, we're going to dive right in. And here's here's the amazing part. I've been most excited and most nervous about this particular call because we do have two phenomenal performance mindset coaches on here. And I will say that the two gentlemen that we're going to hear from, and I need to see if we're going to hear from our our lady. I know we have the two gentlemen that are going to be jumping on, but we also have Miss Rachel Logan, she may be on this particular call or on the 8 o'clock call. But guys, today is Thrive Thursday. It is Thrive Thursday, is where we are going to really take a deep dive and look at ourselves. And I've probably been most anxious about this particular call because this is where you really have to deal with self. So do me a favor, everybody, just type the word self in the chat. this is not about me. It's not about Reagan or Andre or Tony. It's not about the two gentlemen I'm getting ready to bring up. It's really about you. And it's about me. So I'm excited. I'm going to get out of the way and bring up these two gentlemen, and I really want them to introduce themselves. So I will tell you the first individual that I'm going to bring them both up at the same time so that you guys have a chance to see them. But one of the individuals is my brother. We have been friends for going on 30 years. So he is not my blood brother, but he is really truly my brother in the word. He's my brother in this journey we call life. And I'm just so grateful for him. We've been through so much together and I've learned so much. I am, to be honest, you guys have heard me say this even when they're not on here. I am who I am a lot because of this individual. And I'm going to bringing up Jayson Wells, and then also my brother, who is actually my blood brother. I will also say this. Um, I am who I am because of his guidance and his covering. Most of you guys know that we lost our father. Our kids are on here. My father's grandkids are on this particular call. But Justin and my brother Travis have always been the covering for our family, that male figure that you need in your life to be able to not just look up to, but to be able to emulate. And I'm so excited that he is on here as well. And then we have Miss Rachel Logan. She is, Tony, I don't know if you can find her, but Rachel is on here as well, who is a powerhouse by herself, in a league of her own, when it comes to inner healing, when it comes to faith, when it comes to just being that individual that you need in your life if you really truly want to get better and go to the next level. So I'm going to bring them all three up at the same time, and I'm going to allow them to kind of brag on themselves a little bit. So if you can,
They're all
Jayson,
co-hosts, all three of them.
perfect. I don't know why I'm nervous and excited at the same time about this particular call. Um, all right, let me see where Miss Rachel, are you out there?
They're all
Okay.
spotlighted with you.
I was gonna go outside, guys, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be in the hot seat, so I needed some air. But no, in all seriousness, I think people understand how extremely blessed they are to have the three of you be a part of Vibe. So I'm gonna allow ladies to go first. And if you would just do me a favor and just share with me a little bit about, your background, um, where you come from. You look beautiful, by the way. Um, but just share a little bit about yourself, and then we're just gonna kind of do that round table. And then if you guys don't mind, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna dive right into it. I don't know. I was talking to my brother. I said, "Do you remember when the real world popped up and it changed the whole world?" And the words on the real world, it said, "When people stop being politically correct and they start getting real." And that was the first reality show in the United States. And then it changed everything in this world. So I just can't wait to get into it. So Rachel, I'm going to zip my lip and I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me, Megan, Reagan, Tony, Dre. Thank you all for allowing me to come. My name is Rachel Logan. I am a licensed clinical social worker. So basically what that means is I provide mental health therapy. I've been in my field for since 2014. And I currently work with men and women who are dealing with anxiety, depression, mental health issues, just life challenges. I also provide webinars for Fortune 500 companies where I teach on stress management, anxiety, social skills, all the gamut of anything social, mental health. That's what I teach on. And so I'm super excited because my specialty is faith. My specialty is mixing evidence-based practices with faith to promote healing. And so I am excited to share on this platform how people can inner heal so they can heal on the inside so they can thrive and win on the outside. So I love that today is Thrive Thursday because that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to soar. We're meant to win. We're meant to overflow in goodness and mercy. And so I love that we are a faith-based company. So I can talk about God and I can talk about Him freely, and we can incorporate that in our talks. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys on the talks as we get ready to grow together.
All right. Thank you so much. We're so excited to have you here. I'm thrilled. So I'm going to go ahead and go around the room. Jayson, would you like to, with the why, would you like to jump in and share? And then I'm gonna get right to it with you guys as well. So, Mr. Jayson Wells.
Appreciate you. Rachel, it's awesome to see you, hear you. I've heard a lot about you from Megan. Justin, I feel like I'm the brother that y'all don't know y'all had. So, yeah, always good to connect with you. Jayson Wells, in a nutshell, former professional basketball player. I usually start with the what's that I've done, which some people might think are cool. Some people could probably care less about. But some of the what's are former professional basketball player. I played 13 years overseas. In that experience, if I were to summarize 13 years of living in somebody else's country, being a part of somebody else's culture, language, food, all of that. I like to say that I learned myself by learning other people. That's how I would summarize my professional career, which has catapulted me into this. I'm literally sitting in an office now for the past almost a year to the day. My title has been assistant basketball coach at the college level. I coach at Cal State Fullerton University presently. And I start with those what's because again, they're irrelevant if I'm being honest for myself. I have this deal where I use who I am, why I am, how I am, and what I am as almost like a clock. And love hearing Rachel talk about the inner part of us. It starts from the beginning. One of the deals that I speak about is from a purpose standpoint. Purpose is an inward journey. I think that's a lot of the reason that people are challenged with finding their purpose is they hear that statement and then they start looking outward. And so being at a place where understanding that journey of self is kind of how I get to that purpose. And so if I know who I am, now I can get to explore why I am. If I know why I am, now I get to know how I am, which are my own individual personality traits, the things that make me me. For Jayson, the things that make me me are I'm rooted in simplicity. People call me deep all the time, and I think that my content, my conversation is so simple that people think it's deep. But it's rooted in simplicity, it's rooted in connection starting with myself, connection extending outwardly towards the people that I'm in relationship with. I'm rooted in challenging the status quo. I despise social labels, social norms, and all of that. Let's challenge those things and understand why we're doing what we're doing. So, yeah, in a nutshell, I'm super excited. I know you want to get into this conversation, so I'm gonna shut my mouth. That's as much of an introduction as you're gonna get from me right now.
All right, I know, and I have you guys as credentials, so we could literally spend a whole hour just talking about
Let's not, and say
and
we did.
we won't do that, right? We won't do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to my brother, to my blood brother, who I love very, very much. If you would go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank everybody on the panel, everybody that's listening. You guys are taking your time out, precious time out of your day to be able to hear us speak and to be able to hear us impart to you. And with Rachel, Jayson, the things that you guys are doing, phenomenal, because it's all about, helping people. And you guys have extended yourself to be able to do that. For me, probably one of the hardest things is for me to just, be able to talk about myself. Because I'm so much about, everyone else. And I contribute that to, my roots going back to, where we came from, small town, but within that small town, learned so much about just comforting people, being welcoming to people, making people feel like home. So my life was like that growing up. I had uncles and cousins and aunts and everybody that just poured love into you. Well, you don't really understand all of that until you start to get older and you start to go through life and start to be able to have situations that you went through and be able to impart those things to other people. So, growing up, athlete, played basketball, played football in college, All-American in 2 sports. That was the life of us growing up, playing sports, um, making people smile, entertaining people. And now as I've gotten out, I understand all of those dots begin to connect with me. So now I've got many hats. I'm a contractor. I'm over here in Augusta, Georgia. I've been over here since September. I've been helping people put their homes back together. Trees fallen, smashed, homes, displaced people, for months, almost a year right now at this point. I'm a coach. I'm a trainer. My daughter plays volleyball. She's probably one of the best in the country, and I love spending time with her. I love spending time with my family, my wife, my other daughter, my son. Just, I'm a family guy. Love being outside. Love being able to connect with people. What Jayson said is kind of like my life as well. I'm simple. But what I've learned is in that simplicity, yes, people think that it's deep, and it's because people are searching for answers and they think that the answers are buried somewhere so deep. And it's like, no, it's like right in front of you. And sometimes it takes people like us to be able to see what other people don't see. And you can speak that to them and they're like, dang, how I've gone years and years of my life. Like, why has it taken somebody to just explain something to me that simple in order for me to get it? Well, those are gifts. Those are gifts and talents that God has given unto us. And so for us to take our gift and talent and go bury it or not share it with people would be a sin. He says, there's a scripture, and I wrote this down. It says, a wise judge would instruct his people, and the governance of a prudent man is well ordered. So a wise judge means teacher in the Bible. So someone who is wise, you're supposed to go out and instruct your people. You're not supposed to keep that for yourself. So that's where I am. That's what I'm about, is just loving on people, loving on family, being there whenever I'm called, and hopefully having an answer.
You're muted, Megan.
You're muted.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, guys. See, teamwork. So let's do this really quickly before we get into just some conversations that we're going to have on here. If you, Jayson, let's go to you. You have so many accolades. You're doing so many things. All three of you are wearing so many hats. What are you planning on imparting into the people over here? Like what's going to be one of your roles? And I don't know if that's the correct word, over here in Vibe. And then I have the same question for Justin and Rachel. What are you guys going to be doing over here in this ecosystem of growth and greatness?
I love that question, and Justin made reference to something I said. I'm gonna piggyback and make reference to something he said. I'm a coach, and for us specifically, being athletes, that title shows up in a very again, I told you what one of my deals is to challenge status quo, but it shows up in a very specific way. But for me, I use the word coach in reference to just about anybody, because my dad, who I had the pleasure, and I'm throwing up all kind of sarcasm and and jokes with that, but I had the pleasure of playing for him for 1 year in a sport that I'm a basketball player as well. He didn't even know the sport. My dad was a jazz musician. And I remember asking him, like, how you gonna coach? You don't even know nothing about the sport. How you gonna coach us? And back then, I'm 13 years old in the 8th grade. And he told me, son, a coach is simply somebody who takes people to places that they wouldn't be able to go on their own.
Mm.
Simple. And even if we fast forward now and think about a coach, a horse and buggy that's called a coach, that buggy wouldn't go anywhere without that horse. So that horse is literally a coach. And so as I'm thinking about that question of what I'm bringing to the table, what I can only anticipate that Justin and Rachel are bringing to the table, I want people to truly dive deep, as deeply as they can. The phrase that I use is, I am ridiculously obsessed with learning myself. Keyword, ridiculous. What? That's what yes. I am ridiculously obsessed with learning myself. And the two words that come back to me most in learning myself are awareness and accountability. So across the board, people will hear those words, awareness and accountability. If you want to throw some words in front of it, self-awareness and personal accountability. And just to touch a little bit on both, the awareness piece is how well do I know myself? Connection. How connected am I to myself? How well do I know myself to be able to navigate through different situations, to realize when I'm 1 degree off of my North Star? Because if I'm 1 degree off of my North Star, I'm not landing at LAX. I'm landing in the ocean, and so just 1 degree off. So how well do I know myself? And that's a constant journey, step by step. One of my phrases is to keep stepping, keep stepping, keep stepping, and keep stepping isn't always a forward thing. Keep stepping is sometimes even a stillness in anticipating what the next step may be. So keep stepping isn't necessarily the action of to keep stepping, but it's this invitation to continue learning yourself, learning myself. And then the accountability piece, personal accountability. One of the most powerful, I don't know if it was a specific day, but one of the most powerful seasons of life for me is when I really started to understand my role in everything that had happened in my life, that is happening in my life. And understanding that it's not connected to, when I say personal accountability, it's not associated with blame, it's not associated with shame, it's not associated with guilt, it's not associated with credit. It's me asking myself and understanding the role that I played in it, and if it worked out how I wanted it to work out, cool. How do I do that again? If it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to work out, cool. How do I not do that again? Or what did I learn from that situation so that doesn't happen again? And so, again, wrapping that question up into a nutshell, that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I want to bring is creating a space. We can co-create a space where everybody can get as deeply connected to the awareness of themselves and the accountability of how they show up in this space individually.
And I think that's, and I'm going to ask Rachel the same question, and Justin. I think there's 457 of us on here total, and I'll be the first to say there are some people who don't really want to know this stuff. Like, oh, I don't really need this. I'm good. I've heard that a lot. Well, I don't need to be on the calls because it's just the talking, and it's just, and we're here to coach people who are ready to be coached, right? We're here to coach people who are ready to go to the next level. And some people, put a 1 in the chat, guys. If some of you are going to hop off, you won't make it to the end of this call because it's, I don't really know if I want to go there. I don't really need this. I don't really need to take a deeper dive in myself. I already know myself, right? And then they get into a network marketing space and wonder why it's hard to go to the next level, because network marketing or relationship marketing is a self thing. You got to be 90 something % connected to yourself to even be good at this particular business. So you guys are the missing piece that I always had to do back in the day. I had to be the coach, the builder, the personal development coach, the this, the that. And then when I kind of have to get in somebody's butt a little bit because of you told me what you wanted, I'm just asking questions. Those people tend to disappear. So I hope you guys make it to the end of this call. I will say that, because I'm extremely excited to get closer to me and be ridiculously focused on myself as well. Miss Rachel, what are you planning on doing over here? And then Justin, I'm going to bounce to you and ask the same question. What's your focus over here for the people here in Vibe?
Listen, Jayson says something so key, and that is identity. A broken person will not go far. A broken, wounded person cannot reach their highest potential because they're going to be stifled. And so if you know yourself, that gives you a clear understanding, an opportunity to win, right? But we also have to heal. So my purpose in life is to walk people through inner healing. My purpose in life is to walk people to a place of getting to the root of their cycles so they can win, so they can thrive. So my role here is to help you address broken patterns. My role here is so that you can be honest with yourself, acknowledge the wounds so you can win. A lot of people don't like to get to the root because it's scary. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge that their body is signaling them with anxiety or depression or anger that something is off. And so my purpose, my goal is to create a safe space for people so we can learn different skills. We have to learn first how to acknowledge our emotions because they're real, right? God gave us these emotions as a signal. And so some of those signals are good. And we like, listen, Vibe, when you play that video at the beginning, I'm just sitting here writing notes like I am a champion. I will arise, right? And motivation is amazing. It feels good. It gets you pumped up, but there is a real longing in people that they need to address. And that longing is permission. That longing is fulfillment. And in order to experience all the good things, right? Like go up the scale, go through the ladder and reach the financial goals, is that you first have to heal. And so my sessions will look at stress management and helping you get to the root of why are you so stressed. My goal is to help you learn social skills so you won't be intimidated of people. So you can go up to the stranger and tell them, look, I know something amazing and it's called vibe, right? But you have to first learn skills. You first have to learn communication skills. You need to be confident. You have to be sure of yourself. And so my goal is to help people acknowledge, heal, so they can elevate. But we first got to do that with an open heart. And so you have to come on the sessions to impart and take in all the nuggets, right? And just know that it is rooted in faith. It is rooted in God's love. It is rooted in his principles. And so, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing people and meeting people and helping them heal so they can truly, truly win. Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome, Jayson. I am going to ask you the same question, and then we're gonna vibe out for just a moment, and then you guys are coming back tonight at 8 o'clock as well. So I appreciate that because we could sit here all day and break down little pieces, just the simple things that you guys have said, and spend an entire hour on that. So Jayson, what are you going to be doing over here in Vibe? You're muted too. Must be a family thing.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna go back to one of the things that Jayson said as well, and was talking about being a coach, right? And have you guys ever been to like a gym and you've seen where there are people that are training people, and let's say they're training them to do a bodybuilding show or something like that, and it's like, dude, how are you training this guy and you don't look the part? Well, here's the thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that because you are a coach that you are perfect in everything that you're doing. I tell my family this a lot of times because you deal with family and they're looking at your life and everything. And I'm just being real right now. So they look at your life and they're like, well, why are you telling me all of this stuff, but you're not doing this? And my answer is this: I'm working on me too. So, so in this is not just, for everyone else. Whenever I'm helping or I'm teaching other people, I'm helping and teaching myself too. So I tell them, it's not about being like a hypocrite in the way that you coach or teach people. It's God's given me some knowledge and some information to be able to pass on to you. Now, is the knowledge and the information true? And if it's true, then you take it and you do with it what you need to do with it. I still got to work on me too. So I'm not trying to negate that fact. So, for me, what am I here for? And I'll tell you this, whether I'm here or whether I'm at the grocery store or whether it doesn't matter where I'm at, I'm doing the same thing all the time. And the thing that I love about what I do is all about helping people, show people their true self, speak into the lives of people so that they can see the greatness that is already within them that they don't know because they're looking through this fogged mirror. And so they can't see the things that other people can see. The problem is a lot of times people don't want to tell other people about the great things that they see in them because they're worried about themselves. So I'm removing everything about me and I'm focusing on other people. And while I'm focusing on other people, I'm getting healing too.
Yeah.
Because look, here's the thing. We are all sick. We're all sick. We've all have issues. We all have things that, that we've dealt with, in the past, things that, family wise or whatever else it may be. But at the same time, we are supposed to be medics to each other. So where I'm weak, you're supposed to be strong, and where you strong, hey, I'm coming to you. Like, you can help me in this area, but I can help you in this area. So nobody has all the answers. I'm going to be teaching a program. It's called the Year of Self. It's all about trying to get people to understand, to dig down deep, to find out about who they are and about the things that they've dealt with in life. I want people to understand that you weren't born to blend in. The world doesn't need a copy. The world needs you. So let's figure out who you are. Let's dig down deep and understand that all of the hurt, the pain, the trials, the tribulations, all these things that you've gone through, you are looking at it as a bad thing, but God said it's all good, right? So I take the scriptures and I take real life situations and I'm able to help make sense of it. So many times when you're talking to me, I'm going to use the word because I don't want you to just take my words, because my words are opinions. But when I use the word of God, then I can give it to you and I can say, hey, you can argue with the word.
Yeah.
All day long. So look, I'm going to tell you this. It says, there's a scripture that says, prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. So if all those things come of the Lord, what are you complaining about? Because he said it's all good. So the problem is your perception of how you seeing things. The problem so I want to be able to help people to be able to see that so that they know and they can tell everything's good in my life. It's just, I got to change my perception on how I see things.
So let's get into it. So right now, I was talking to you, Jayson, and I want us to just kind of, versus now kind of going around and around in a circle. Let's just have a conversation. You guys can jump in and put 3 7s in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. It's my favorite number. We're going to do legend 777. 7 is the number of completion. So if you guys throw that in the chat, I just want to have a conversation and no flow. The flow is the flow. I think that's what you always talk about, Jayson. We just going to bounce in and jump in. I know for me right now, I was talking to Jayson about this, we were talking about the 1%, and you can give your perspective on that. But this thing about focus and balance, because we've been going strong for 155 days. Some of these leaders have not taken breaks either. We've been going super strong because we have this vision that we're going to create a kingdom full of, healed individuals that are financially healed, spiritually healed, that are relationally healed. That's what the Vibe ecosystem is. And we're going to bring in our gifts and talents, and we're going to be able to have courses and learn Forex and crypto and all those types, sports betting. We're going to do all of those things. And we're going to focus on, we got to focus right here. So let's talk about focus and balance, because I threw a video to Jayson and it was like, when you're focused, you're out of balance. And when you're balanced, you're not fully focused. And I'm dealing with this right now, like the distractions that disguise themselves like as rest and coping. But it's like those distractions are kind of robbing people. So let's talk about focus. Let's talk about balance. Let's talk about distractions. Let's talk about I'm dealing with a lot of different people who like need that direction and guidance, but so do I. So I don't know where you guys want to jump in. But let's just throw it out here. Jayson, I'll go with you first because I know, and then let's just
I'm over here. I got notes and stuff I don't
okay.
want to remember.
And
I
I'm
mean,
in
I
the
don't want to
hot seat.
forget.
I know I'm about to be in the hot seat. So let's just go ahead and have a conversation.
No, here's the thing, Megan. Rachel, myself, Justin, we all spoke about the same thing in our own individual experiences and in our own individual voice and in our own individual way. But it all came back to the same thing. We each said, this journey that we're on, it starts with self. It starts with me. You know this, Megan. One of the deals that for me and anybody that I coach, whether it's my friend, whether it's my son, whether it's myself, whether it's one of my players athletically or non-athletically, whether it's a Fortune 500 CEO, whatever it is, it's always going to come back to self. I got a young lady that, and you saw one of our the tail end of one of our conversations. She's a 21-year-old student manager for our basketball team, and she's in this place of awe and discouragement because she's damn, this is about me. It's about me. I use this phrase of airplane selfish. You've heard me use this, airplane selfish, airplane selfish. And I'm actually now I've been called to dig deeper into that. And I'm it's gonna be a book. Not only is it going to be content, it's going to be a book, because on any plane that you've ever been on, from now, and I don't anticipate the FAA changing the rules anytime soon. In the unlikely event of emergency, put your own oxygen mask on first. On any plane you've ever been on, small plane, big plane, overseas plane, little crop duster, whatever, like put your own mask on first. It's that level. And it's not I put my own mask on so I could, oh yeah, I got my mask, I'm good. No, it's I put my mask on so I can now go serve the people who need me to be who I need to be.
Right.
From the people that I care about most, my children that I may be traveling with, my parents, my family members that I may be traveling with. That's cool. I love them, but I do them no good if I'm not here. So I like the part of us touching on the self. I had to make reference to that, and then specifically with the balance and the focus. Again, Megan, you know this from having conversations and dialogues with me for over 30 years. And 30 years ago, I didn't word it like this, but I was like, I'm looking back at it. Somebody asked me the other day, like, when you start talking like this? It's probably a long time ago. But focus and balance. And I know you sent me the Myron Golden video, and my response was, I love it. Like the way that he worded it, cool. And it's not that I disagree with it. I just have my own perspective of how I approach it. And I'm going to take it into this. I wouldn't necessarily compare those two words of focus and balance. For me, balance, and you know this, balance and harmony, that's my individual word challenge. So I use those words. So we talk about even something as socially accepted as work-life balance, work-life balance. We hear that all the time. Oh man, I got to get a work-life balance. Well, in my experience, one of the reasons that I have had a challenge with work-life balance is because at what point when I think balance, this is what I think for those that can see me. My hands are representing a scale, and this side is balanced with this side. That's what I think about when I think balance. Well, when in my life has work and life been balanced? Not never. Right? And so now, rather than trying to work on this balance of work and life, for me, it was a major moment of what's the harmony look like for them? What do those things working in harmony look like? And now, as I do this, for those of us that have ever been a child, I'm at the playground right now. I'm on a seesaw right now. You know, and a seesaw ain't no fun if I'm on it by myself. A seesaw ain't no fun if I'm always up or I'm always down. It ain't no fun. It's only fun when we dance, when sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. And so for me, rather than looking for balance in my life, I'm in constant search of harmony, understanding that this season in my life may look like 80% work and 20% life.
Right.
And the harmony of that may look like 20% work and 80% life, but it's a dance. And then the focus piece, as I shut up, the focus piece I would associate with the word time. we're so focused on time. Time is actually one of my friends. He's an artist. He lives in Atlanta, and this dude is in his mid 40s, and he looks like he's in his mid 20s. And I'm a firm believer that he physically looks the way he looks because he doesn't even have clocks in his office. He doesn't wear a watch. He's not looking at his phone. He really has no concept of time. And I feel like that plays out to how he physically presents himself because
Right.
he's not associated with time. And so for me, rather than being focused on maximizing my time, I'm now, pun intended, I'm focused on maximizing my focus. Not my time, but my focus. We all got 24 hours in a day. How am I channeling my focus? And for me, that boils down to 15 minutes. 14 minutes and 44 seconds if you really want to get specific. You heard this the other day. So as we talk about 1%, mathematically across the board, 1% according to time in a 24-hour day is 14 minutes and 44 seconds. 15 minutes if you want to round it up. But you with the 777, I'm big on 444. 444 from a numerology standpoint is clarity, stability, guidance. So I'm oh, okay, 1444. Okay, there go those 3 fours. I'm looking for that stability. I'm looking for that clarity. I'm looking for that guidance. And so for me, as I talk about getting 1% better each day, what's my 15 minutes of uninterrupted, intentional growth and development for Jayson Wells? And then now I have my mask on. Now I can go serve the world.
I love that. Type 15 in the chat. We talked about this yesterday. People are willing to give really 15 minutes to their own self, right? Not just wake up. And Rachel, it brings it to you and Justin. I mean, you guys have families as well. Rachel, you're a mom. You have a super successful husband and a business, and you're at church. I was in St. Louis with you, you know.
Yeah. So let's talk about this, and then I do have to get off today a little early, but I'll be back tonight at 8. When you were talking, I was thinking about you know when we're at Thanksgiving time and we are looking forward to like every food item that we have as a family. You got chicken, mashed potatoes, dressing, all those things. And sometimes we'll make our plate, but then we also make a second plate because we don't want food to mix match, or we just because it's an overflow. Right? Jayson, you laughing because that's probably you. You be getting seconds, sometimes thirds. No, I'm playing. But listen, sometimes our life is like that too, where we have literally too much on our plate. And it is hard for us to focus. If we have all the types of meats and the sides and we're getting that second plate, that's weighty. Because what happens when we eat all of that? We get the itis. We find ourselves in a little corner with a blanket and we go to sleep because we overloaded ourselves in that one setting of a meal. And so our lives look like that sometimes. And so it's hard for us to focus. So I always tell my husband, keep the main thing the main thing. So your seasons do fluctuate, right? So like you said, seesaw, seasons fluctuate. You have to look at what is on your plate. If you don't have enough for something, then you need to scale back. You do have to reduce, you have to remove, you have to replace. And so it's hard to focus when you're overloaded. And so just think about metaphorically what is on your plate, right? And so that will help you to focus. It will also help you reduce the stress and anxiety if you're overloaded. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys tonight. I'm looking forward to just the future, a vibe, how we will connect. I cannot wait to glean from you, brothers, because listen, when you share, you add value, and iron sharpens iron. And so you're right, Justin, we need each other. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know you more and to work with all of the Vibe family. So thank you all for having me.
We'll see you tonight, Rachel. Thank you so much
Take care.
for stepping in. So Justin, you know, and we can go we can go down that route. I'm struggling with some things right now. Can I just be I'm not going to lay on the couch, because I always tell people you get to lay on the couch one time, but then when I was thinking today, you know how Dad used to wake us up in the middle of the night at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and we're 5 and 6 years old, and my dad, guys, would give a 2 hour, we called it a lecture, right? Now looking back, I would give anything to have that moment again. And we didn't get to lay down, get up, like sit up and you're gonna listen. And then I realized when you're sitting up listening, it's easier to stand up and take action. And right now in my life, my balance, my focus is on not just this business, but on the things that I said that I wanted to do for the people. So I have kids right now. My daughter's, getting ready to go to college. My son Devin, is 23. He's finding himself, and I'm trying to be everything for everybody. I'm trying to do things for this team. There's 400 plus people on here, and you know, I'm building this massive organization, and everybody's like, when you gonna spill over into my organization? And I'm like, I last night I found myself a little bit like I just had to go to sleep because it's a lot sometimes. And so right now I'm just trying, I'm looking for that harmony, Jayson. I'm looking for that um time to be able to work on me too while I'm going through this journey with everybody else. So Justin, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah. Well, I would say this because it's different for everybody, so there's not one solution that fits, every single person. So one of the things is you have to know thyself, right? So some people can not until they feel pressure do they rise to the occasion, and then great things can come out of it, so that pressure can change and transform them into a diamond or whatever it is that they're producing. Greatness can come out of it. Other times, people need more time, to be able to produce or to do the things that they need to do. So when you talk about, like focus and balance, and something that, Jayson, you were talking about, like your friend, how he moves and operates. I move and operate different than my wife. My wife is a Marine background. She needs planning. She needs to have things in order to be able to move and get things done. And I had to get to a point where I appreciate how she moves, and she needs to appreciate how I move.
Hold
So
up, you said needs to. You saying Emmy, my favorite
yes.
sister-in-law, needs to? You saying she ain't there yet? Sorry, just
No. Well, I'm saying that this is a process. We've been married for what, 22 years now. It's a process. It's work to, and we're always changing. We're changing, so you got to give people room and space to be able to change as well. So whenever I think of focus and balance, you know, think of balance like driving a car. You know, if your wheels are not balanced, if it's not in alignment, you can let go of the wheel a little bit and it'll start going to the left, or it'll start pulling to the right, and that's your life. But also that pulling that you're experiencing can be somebody else pulling you in and out of balance, right? Because many times you might be out of balance because somebody else is out of balance and they're pulling on you to try to help them get into balance. Now you got to recognize and understand, like, okay, how do I handle and how do I deal with this situation? Because I still want to be able to give, to someone that needs something from me. But I wrote this down. Saying no sometimes is self-love for you, right? So
yeah.
sometimes we have to be able to say no, not right now. Sometimes we have to say, okay, I've got this going on. Let me put this aside and help you right now. That's the balance. Like how do we do that? How do we know and understand? How do we have the discernment to know when it's time to help and when it's time to say no? So what I do, and believe me, like whenever I speak, I'm always telling I tell people all the time, most of the stories that I'm telling is stories about myself, because like Jayson, I'm trying to figure me out, right? Constantly. I'm a free spirit. So like I said, my wife being a Marine and how she moves and everything, I can't move like that. If I moved like that, we would not be eating. So all of my opportunities and everything come because I flow. And my focus is what's in front of me. So I see I have a conversation with this person. Oh, wow, a great opportunity just came out of this. If I was looking past this person or past this situation, I would miss it. But that's me. That's how I move. You know, so you have to know who you are. You have to know how you're supposed to move and how God created you to be able to bring out the best of who you are. So there's
So,
not one
so,
thing applies to everybody.
and I'm just going to start jumping in too. So,
Yeah.
how do we help people, really stop running from the lessons that they need to learn? I mean, as a mom right now, like there are lessons that I had to learn when I was a kid, and I didn't want to learn those lessons. Justin, you and I talked about getting a whooping. Like we come from the age of like whoopings was a thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't just go stand in the corner until you learn your lesson. It was like, now let me help you learn your lesson immediately. And I know everybody has an opinion about it, but people, they run from the hard lessons, and then they don't want to really truly go through the pain that it takes to get to the next level. Everybody wants to get to I want to be a legend, I want to make a lot of money, I want to do this and that. But I didn't just get there. I've been doing this for years and years and years, and I failed forward. So what do we do when people just they want to run from the lessons?
Um, Here's the thing. You cannot go from the 7th grade to the 8th grade without passing the test.
Mm.
So no matter what, if you
Damn,
are
my bad. My bad. I forgot. I realized I wasn't on mute. My bad.
so the pain, the pain is a beautiful thing. It's a good thing. It's what makes people great. So when you listen to, I mean, Kobe Bryant, right? Kobe Bryant, everybody say Kobe is one of the greatest. Well, and some people may say, man, I want to be great like that. Oh yeah, really? Do you want to go to the gym 3 hours before you're playing in a playoff game and make, not shoot, make 800 shots right at the elbow doing the same move 800 times? You have to make. So if that means if you have to make 800 and someone at a high level shoots at 50%, you might be shooting 1,600 shots. Are you willing to go through that type of focus, that mental toughness, and stay the course? Because if you're not willing to do that, then you don't want to be great. And that's in anything in life. So do you say, yeah, man, I'm overweight and I really want to lose weight and this and that. Yeah, but you eat the same way every day. You go to the gym and you look at everybody else pushing weight. Well, you are running from discipline and you're running from pain. And what you need to do is embrace discipline and embrace pain, because pain is the greatest teacher. So if you want to get to the 8th grade, guess what? You're gonna have to stay up and study late at night when it's finals week. I'm saying this because my daughter just was going through that this week. Oh, you want to go to the next level, to the next grade, get to the go from 10th grade to 11th grade. Then you have some finals coming up, and it may cost you your sleep. You might have to you have to sacrifice now your time, your comfort, and everything else, and it's painful to get to that next level. And guess what? When you get to the next level, there's new lessons to be learned. So you got to do it all over again.
Mm. Jayson, so, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Hold on. Let's pause.
okay.
Let's pause and just let that simmer because, and this is a pause. Like I want me, even as I speak, I want me to be able to get what I'm going to get out of what Justin just shared. It's power in what he just shared. I speak about nuggets. I tell my guys all the time, these nuggets, but don't look for the nuggets to always come from me. There's gonna be some nuggets in this room. It's the peer-to-peer nuggets. Those gonna be better than anything. I'm your coach. I'm supposed to give you these nuggets. What about the nuggets that the dude that's right next to you? He just said something that I want you to be. I want you to sit there. I want you to be in that space. Um, so Justin, man, I got goosebumps, man. You know, when I get goosebumps, it's that's my body telling me I'm where I'm supposed to be. Um, you asked a question. You said, how do we get the people that, in a nutshell, don't want to do what's required to get
Yeah,
to where they say they want to go?
exactly.
And here's my answer to that. Cool. That's my answer. Cool. Cool. Don't, and we can go back to some of the oldest cliches in the book. Don't tell me about it, show me about it. Don't tell me, show me. I want to be great. I want to be a legend. I want to be this. Okay, cool. Show me. Show me. Show me. And don't show me when we talk about words like I got a word. We've been talking about roots. I hope this don't do nothing. I know y'all probably can't see that. I got gear. That's part of my responsibilities. But the roots, these are the roots to our culture. And our roots are discipline, energy, effort, and toughness. Those are our roots. That's what we're constantly rooted in, coming back to. Before we start talking about X's and O's, before we start talking about how we're going to play the ball screen, before we start talking about any of these things, discipline, energy, effort, and toughness, those are our roots. So the question becomes now, what are my personal roots?
Right.
My personal roots, Jayson's personal roots are peace, love, and joy. Those are my roots. I'm always going to fall back to those three things. Peace, love, and joy. Does it bring me peace? Does it allow me to be able to show love? And does it bring me joy? If it's not bringing me into those three things, why am I doing it? What's up, baby girl? We got to get these shoes together.
Me too.
Um, and here's one more thing I want to add to this, Megan. Again, you're talking about the how do we get these people and to witness that moment right there, to know that I too have an 18-year-old son that we just 48 hours ago had a very, very, very powerful conversation rooted in his purpose. He don't know who he is, man. I really like playing basketball, but I don't like this school thing. And I realize in order for me to continue to play basketball, I'm gonna have to continue to go to school. And I don't know if I really want to continue to go to school. That's a real conversation.
Yeah.
But to have these moments, not just with each other, but with the people that we care about the most, specifically downline, our kids. I'm gonna share with you something that you've heard me say before, and I'll share it in another way. It is not your job to determine who or how much people drink. It is your job to be the well.
Mm.
That was something my uncle told me. Play on words, last name, Wells. He just told me this 3 or 4 years ago. I'm a grown man. I'm an adult when he told me this. I ain't no, 14, 15-year-old dude telling me this. I'm a 45, 46-year-old man when he told me this just a couple years ago. It is not your job to determine who or how much people drink. It is your job to be the well.
Mm.
Mm.
I took that and I now give it to, I'm pointing right here because my head coach's office is on the other side of this wall. I tell him all the time, hey man, it ain't our job to make sure that they get it. It's our job to make sure that they got it.
Okay, hold on. So say that again because I really have been digesting that phrase because you've said it to me many times. Say that one more time.
About the
It's
well?
not, no, it's not my job to make sure they get it.
They get it. Yeah. So clearly I'm
So say
being
it again.
for those Yeah, for those of us that English, well, I guess I'm speaking to an English teacher. Like, don't hold me grammatically correct to this. I know I'm grammatically incorrect on this.
Hey, listen, I'm
It's
retired.
it is not our job. It is not my job. Let me again going back to the personal accountability, and I'll do this as an introduction as well. When you hear me speak, you will hear me speak a lot of times in first person. That's not out of an arrogance. That's not out of a narcissistic mentality. That's out of a personal accountability. I'm speaking about myself. I ain't speaking about you. When I do my tweets, my gems to greatness and all those things, my Twitter, I changed it to represent my title. But before I got here, my Twitter used to say, I'm just talking to myself. I appreciate you listening. I don't give advice. You know this. I don't give advice.
Yeah.
I don't give advice. I'm talking to myself. I'm so honored that you would listen. So as I'm speaking through this, so for me, it's not my job to make sure that they get it. Whoever they may be, it could be my son, it could be you, it could be Justin, it could be Rachel, it could be my guys on my team, it could be my coach. It's not my job to make sure that they get it when I'm giving it to them. That's not my job. My job is to make sure that they got it or have it, if I'm now being grammatically correct. It's my job to make sure that they have it when they need it. If we're talking about having tools in a toolbox, for me, and I'm not a handy man, I got a toolbox that got the bare necessities in it. But for me, if I'm working through it, I know in my own experience, it's been a hell of a lot easier for me to have a tool and not need it than to need a tool and not have it.
Mm. Yeah.
So it's not my job to make sure that they get it. You just said it yourself. The way that your parents raised you was you're going to do this until you get it. Well, whether it's a shift in how we parent, how we coach, how we teach, or it's a whatever it is, you're also thinking about those things that no matter how much you stood in a corner or got that butt tapped, you just wasn't going to get it until you was going to get it.
And
it might have been 26, 27, 28, 30, 40, 50 years old before you got it. But now you can look back and say, oh, damn, that's what dad was talking about.
And that's kind of where I am right now. It's like I'm in a different stage of parenting. I just turned 47. You guys know that. And 18 years old, 23. I've never parented a 23-year-old son before. I've never parented an 18-year-old daughter before. I've never been in a position where there's 70 something thousand people and my phone doesn't stop ringing and there's texts in here and I may not be able to give, read somebody's text message and then, people might feel a certain kind of way about that. I'm excited though. I'm just excited. I'm keeping my eyes on the prize and I'm kind of telling everybody else like I already gave it to you. Like you got to go do something with it right now because I'm still working on me. So I'm in that stage where it's like I want to be selfish right now because me being selfish means that I'm better for everybody else. And that's kind of where I am right now, just with my kids, with my business, with my relationships. So I appreciate that it puts me in a place of where I'm accountable to myself to make sure I give it to people, to make sure I give the knowledge.
Lead, I gotta jump here in a second, Megan. I just want to piggyback on the word that you just used, the accountability piece, and it even touched into you lightly asked this question before, but the accountability piece. You know this again because you've heard me say this, and these are all the things that we will break down. And even talking about listening to Justin talking about I'm a free flowing spirit dude, and his wife is a very like we need to plan out. Like it's the reason that I use the word content over curriculum. I don't, when I think curriculum, I think we got to move A to B, B to C in a certain time span. We can't go to C if we haven't completed A. When I think content for me, we can ebb and flow. We can dance in this thing. So if I'm delivering content and I feel like we need to sit in this space because this space is where the most impact is coming, we're going to sit here. I could care less about whatever else I got planned on the agenda from a curriculum standpoint. But these are all the things that we're going to break down. We're going to break down the intentionality of words. Going back to your very first question, what do I want to bring to this ecosystem? What do I want to bring to this environment? I want to bring an intentionality of words. And I say this very loosely and facetiously, but I'm so serious. I really don't care what you say. I just want you to know why you say it.
Yeah.
I don't care whether you use the word balance or harmony. I could care less I could care less. I just want you to know why you're using the words that you're using. And for me, a very intentional word challenge has been the challenge between cliche holding someone accountable
Mhm.
and my phrase of leading someone to accountability.
Yeah.
In my experience, holding someone accountable, if I'm holding you accountable, it's Megan, you got to do this and you got to do that. I'm ultimately not holding you accountable to what you want. I'm holding you accountable to what I want. This ain't
Right.
about me. Rather than leading you to accountability, for me, the first part of leading you to accountability is I have to know you well enough to know what it is you want. What do you want? I didn't write you this the other day when I told you I wanted to walk with you and work with you, but here's a part of it. And now I'm everybody can hear it. So literally, I told you the other day, I want people to be able to hear and see our conversation. So welcome. So here you go. At the end of the day, Megan, I don't work for you. I work for the vision that you want to create.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Or we can substitute a word and not say work for you, but work with you. I don't work with you. I want to work for the vision that you want to create. So now your job is to be as ridiculously clear with the vision as you can be, so I can be as clear as I can be, so we can walk together in the direction of the vision that you want to go. That's leading you to accountability. Okay, cool. This is what you said you want. I know you well enough to say this is what you want. And now rather than saying, Megan, did you get that done? You ain't going to be it if you don't get that done. Did you get that done today? Oh, okay, cool. That's going to make it real difficult to get to where you say you want to go and walk off. And walk off. Cool. You want to be a great. Okay. Did you shoot 800 shots from one spot today? Did you make 800 shots from one spot today? Cool. Cool. That's why I'm saying, cool. You didn't do that. That's going to make it real difficult to get to where you say you want to go. And the last piece of leading you to accountability means I also got to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's going to be hard to lead you to accountability if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which again comes back to me. It's always going to come back to me. Always, 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 always. So literally the last thing, as we talk about people shying away from it, you said everybody wasn't going to make it to the end of this call. I know you said it was for some. I know it's been slowly dropping. I'm sure people have things to do. I'm not, that ain't my job to determine who or how much people drink. It's my job to be the whale. And as we use these words of the work, Rachel said it takes work. Justin said it in his own way. It takes work. I said it in my own way. Work for me defined is intentional effort. We live in a world with social media. We got these young people, they in gyms and they got their phones up and I'm in here getting this work. No, you're not. You're recording yourself. You ain't working. Most of the time, the work is undocumented. So don't tell me about, so now work for me is intentional effort. And for the people who want to be in the space that I want to be a part of, either you want to get it or you don't. And if you don't, that's cool. That ain't my job to determine or be mad at you for not wanting to get it. Cool. I'm going to be here. That well going to be here. That well going to be here. Pun intended. I'm going to be here. Sorry, you got me going on a Thursday morning.
And for everybody listening, because this is what we do. I mean, this is what we do. Do we do it every day? No, because we have other responsibilities, but that's why I'm telling everybody on here, I am who I am because our conversations do go on sometimes. I sat in my car and talked to Jayson, guys. I was in Indianapolis. I was about to go into this lounge, and then it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I sat there and talked to Jayson for 54 minutes and just to decide I wasn't going to go into that lounge. And then I drove to my hotel and sat in the parking lot until going into 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, just talking. And I took notes the whole time. I was taking notes just because we need to be filled up too, right? And if people want to drink more, I'm always available, right? But I appreciate you guys for allowing me to to sip from your well when I can just get a sip and Jason's like, all right, I gotta go, peace, I'm out. He'll be off the phone. Gotta go, deuces, peace, I'm out. And I'll pick up what I need to pick up. And Justin, everybody in our family, Jayson, this is how we know if people are going through something in our family. Cause I'll walk in there to talk to my nephew and I'm like, what you doing? Oh, I'm talking to Uncle Justin. Oh, like, I already know. I already know somebody in the family is going through something. Talk to my son, Devin, like, what? Well, I was talking to Uncle Justin. Oh, like, good, because because I don't have it in me right now, right? I don't even have it in me to be listening right now, because when people say, what can I do for you? Take care of your own sheesh. Like, I got my stuff. Take care of your own stuff. Like, that's what you can do for me. I don't need anything else except for people to deal with their own stuff, their own self.
How do you do this isn't a question I want you to answer, but this is where we're going. So now my question to that would be, okay, cool, how? Because there's a large percent. That's why I love hearing Rachel. I see Justin nodding his head. Like, this is my issue with motivational speaking. There's a lot of people telling people what to do as opposed to asking them what they're willing to do.
Mm.
It's a whole bunch of, oh, you gotta wake up at this morning time. I could care less when you wake up. I don't care whether you wake up at 5 or go to sleep at 5. That ain't on me. What are you doing in those moments when you're up? My grandmama used to tell me, don't tell me what you did, tell me what you got done.
Mm.
A lion sleeps for 20 hours out of the day, but I bet you don't want to see him doing those 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, and being in these situations, we're now asking, what are you willing to do? What are you, and intentional with that word, cliche, ready, willing, and able. Ready. Are you ready? Well, no, I'm really not ready. Okay, well, when you going to be ready? So that's really not an issue, because we're always ready.
Yeah.
Able. If I'm biblically speaking and we're created in God's image, of course I'm able, because he wouldn't have given me, he gave me the ability. So
Right.
even using the cliche of ready, willing, and able, ready and able really ain't even questions.
Yeah.
The question is, are you willing?
Hey, Jayson, let me add to that. That's a lot of good stuff. And I'm sitting over here with the little bumps popping too, right?
Yeah.
So first off, you was talking about like drinking from the well, and it just kind of always get like scriptures that pop up into my head and everything. And the Samaritan woman, I think that was the one where she comes and she's drinking from the well, and Jesus tells her, hey, if you drink from my well, you'll never thirst again. So now you got to pay attention to which well you're drinking from. So you could be drinking from the wrong one.
No doubt.
What that water is the word. That water is a word that's being given to you. You can be getting the wrong word, right? So
No doubt.
One of the things that I was going to add to what you said was consistency. You said being willing, right? Now, if you're willing, the thing that goes hand in hand with that is, are you willing to be consistent? Now, check this out. If you wanted to lose weight, build muscle, anything like that, I like to use gym. I like to use sports analogies and everything, because you just pull so much from it, right? So I was talking to my my other sister the other day, and I used this analogy. You can go to the gym for one day and be in the gym for 9 hours, right? Tomorrow, are you going to see any results? No. What if you go to the gym 9 days for 1 hour? You still worked out for 9 hours, right? The difference is you were consistent over a period of time. So yeah, that 9 days of 1 hour makes all the difference in the world. So we have to be willing to be consistent. We got to be willing to understand that it's going to take more of an effort for you to if this is your goal, if this is your vision, you know, you can't operate from Megan's vision. You can't operate from anyone else's vision. That's the beautiful thing that I think with Vibe is Vibe allows you to, Vibe has a vision, but the vision is made up of other people's visions, right? So you get to bring your vision into this and you get to grow it and not have to follow the CEO or the corporation and everything where you go in there and they're like, no, this is our vision, this is what you're going to do. You like, no, I've got gifts and talents over here. I get to bring this into this platform and I get to make my stuff happen. And in the process, I get to help tremendous amounts of people.
Yeah.
But you know, that consistency is a big thing, you know, for all of us. Are you going
Justin, you
gonna do it for 9 days?
just got 2 new nephews and you don't even know it, because in that conversation that I shared with my son the other day, that's what we ended up on. And listening to this conversation, like we can joke about Megan saying not a blood brother, but I'm a brother. Me saying, you know, the family deal. Again, most of us have heard the cliche of it takes a village, it takes a village, it takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child. Well, cool. One of the most beautiful things about this season of parenthood for me is for me to fall back like that image of Homer Simpson falling in the bushes, like
That's my
fading back
favorite.
into the bushes,
I want to fade in the
that
bushes.
that is my deal. Like I want to fall back like Homer in the bushes, and now I want to let Uncle Justin say his experience, share his experience. Auntie Megan share her experience. The people that like that I'm now that are a part of my village, they get to be the village, and I now get to be dad and tell my son, you know what, man, I really, really, really love watching you play basketball, man. I ain't got to be telling you should have made that layup and you should have did. Oh, no, that ain't my job no more. And that was literally the word that we landed on the other day was consistency. My challenge to him is, son, what areas of your life have you created consistency? I can pick up my phone right now, and I haven't done it yet today. But the day that I knew that I was coming here to California, I started Duolingo learning Spanish. That's now 300 and yesterday was 351 days.
That's funny because Justin's learning Spanish too, and we went to got a margarita, and he was over there talking to the
ordering,
ordering in Spanish.
I talk to my dudes. I talk to my dudes at the car wash, and when I tell you, they get so excited to see this big black dude making an attempt. And am I right? Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Which is another something, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Which is another something that I learned from overseas is that as Americans, we are the only country that ridicule people for trying to speak our language in a broken way. We're the only people that get upset because people don't speak our language. Other countries, they are so excited that you making an attempt to learn their language. Man.
Yeah.
So anyway, I gotta jump.
Spanish, we have Spanish, and I know we're 4 minutes, right? Because I said I would keep it to an hour to an hour and a half. Because we're coming back here at 8:00. But listen, I'm coming back here. I'm laying on the couch. I got some stuff to talk about, and I have some stuff to hear about. I have some questions that I want to ask. Let me tell you what they are so we can think about them. Tonight at 8:00, guys. Here are a few things just on my mind, how do you help people realize that the miracle they're waiting on is actually them? Like they waiting for this miracle, like, oh, Vibe has just been this big blessing, which has been a blessing to me too. So listen, guys, don't come back if you don't want to talk about this stuff. But how do we get people to realize that the miracle they're waiting on is actually them? They're waiting on others to do the work, and then kind of get disappointed if they don't see thousands of people in their organization. Like I think they're the miracle. What are the everyday distractions we talked about that disguise themselves as rest? Everybody keeps telling me, you need to take a break. You need to rest. Nobody was telling me to take a break when I was working 40 hours teaching high school, and then I would go home and grade papers, and I couldn't even, nobody ever told me to rest. They're like, "Girl, you are such a hard worker. Go ahead with your bad self." It's when you start going after something really big, everybody wants you to take a break all of a sudden, right? What does the accountability look like? How do you lead people to their own role in the results without crushing their spirits? Because I I I have a great leaders, but I also have a few people who, we were vibing, and then all of a sudden we ain't vibing when I do have to say, listen, this is what I gotta do. This is how I'm moving. It ain't. And then sometimes people get their little feelings hurt, and then I don't hear from them no more. Right. And that's okay. That's okay. But I mean, how do we get to the point where we can coach people and not always have to be politically correct? Not always have to, like, I don't want to apologize all the time. I sometimes want to be Tupac when he said, "I don't want people to know what I'm going to say. I want them to shiver because I don't know what she's about to say." I want to talk about that. I want to talk about, how can we, how do we help someone who only shows up when things are easy, but disappears when the real work or correction shows up? Because the money's about to hit for a lot of people who have been working. Everybody type work in the chat. The close to 400 people who are still on. Then we go and get off. Everybody wants, like, the result, but it takes work. And I want to thank all of you guys because many of you guys, you're putting in the work. But when the matrix is about to show up and everybody is waiting, like, how many people fell under me? The question is, how many people did you put there? How many? And the only person that you really needed to put there, guys, is you, right? When we open up the floodgates, just make sure you are in position. Even if you don't see anybody underneath you, make sure you're in position, because there are people who are not only getting in position, they're actually working. They're actually sharing this opportunity. And then other people are going to flood in. It might take 30 days. It might take 60 days or 90 days for you to see the flood. But if I were you guys, listen, I would get your people positioned before the tsunami happens. If you look in your downline here in the next couple days and you guys don't see anybody under you because you haven't put anybody there, but you're positioned, you're in the best place ever. Get your people positioned quickly, so when the tsunami and the flood comes, it floods underneath your people. That's called check match. That's called generational wealth. That's called take a vacation by yourself if people get on your nerves. That's called freedom right there. So I just want to say thank you. I know we've been on here for an hour and a half, and I don't take it lightly but can you guys real quick, leave the folks with something, because we're going to come back tonight. We have an hour tonight, guys, and we're going to start immediately at 8 o'clock to 9, because I have another call at 9 exactly. So we're going to go for an hour. I'm going to do less talking. You guys want to leave the peeps with anything, because we appreciate you guys more than anything sticking around.
Nephew, I'll
Go
let
ahead,
you
Justin.
first.
uh, I'm gonna be the brother. I'm gonna let my son be the nephew. We too close in age for me to be
There
nephew.
you go. There you
Listen,
go.
I gave
Hey,
Jayson.
Jason, how old are you, bro? How old are you?
48.
Oh,
48.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got you by a year, bro. So
Yeah.
Look at us,
brother,
47,
brother, go ahead. You got it.
48, what, 47, 48,
Yeah.
49?
Yeah. Wisdom. And actually that'll be where I will go as far as the lead up for tonight. You will hear me speak a lot about my grandmother and my father and my uncles. I was fortunate, many of them have transitioned out of physical life at this point, but I had 10 uncles, 5 on my mom's side and 5 on my dad's side. So I saw masculinity in a lot of different ways. I saw it show up as a drug addict. I saw it show up as an alcoholic. I saw it show up as a reverend. I saw it show up as a womanizer. Like I saw it show up in a bunch of different ways. And one of the things that, as I make reference to my upbringing and my family, my grandmother used to tell me, you get knowledge from books and teachers, you get wisdom from time and experience.
Mm.
And I just thought like that was one of the most profound, simple things. Again, like I started this off, like somebody might hear that, man, that's deep, that's deep. No, 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 it's actually really simple. My uncle told me in his version, if my grandmother told me that, I can only presume that she told him, her son, and he told me his version of that. He said, son, I can read a book and get smarter. You can't read a book and be 70. Dang. It takes 70 years to get 70 years old, right? And so in that, um, my deal is I want to impart knowledge. Some of it is knowledge because I am a teacher, I am a coach. So part of it is knowledge. And for me to be able to share the knowledge and the wisdom that I've been blessed with in these 48 years and co-create a space, because as I tell my 18-year-old son, it's been a long time since I've been 18. It's been 30 years since I've been 18. And there are things happening now that weren't happening when I was 18. So the days of me thinking I got the information because I'm older, those days are gone. And so I'm just as much looking forward to learning from everybody. I'm a Matrix dude. I love the original Matrix. I don't know about like the second and the third and the fourth one, Revolutions and all that. The very first Matrix, if I'm using those characters, I've actually created a name that I call Neorpheus, which is a mix of Neo and Morpheus. Morpheus was supposed to be the ultimate teacher. Neo was supposed to be the ultimate pupil. And I find myself as showing up in both of those spaces, because as much as I want to be the ultimate teacher and see myself as that, I am also the ultimate student sitting at the feet of people that that I want to learn from. So yeah, hopefully to see you back this evening.
I love that. And I want people, and Justin, I'm gonna let you take us out of here, but I want all of you guys to come with your questions. I don't talk money for the sake of money, but it's like people put the value on it. And I know, Jayson, you've sat in rooms and people have paid you lots of money, right? To just have an hour with you, So I don't take it lightly that you've spent an hour and a half, because this world operates on value. And a lot of times it's the money. If I spend this amount, someone might have to pay you 250 to 500 to, now I know somebody's willing to pay you, 5 figures just to have your time. So we don't take it lightly, do we, guys, on this call? We don't take it lightly at all. But I want all of you to bring your questions back, like things that you want to know. So it's not my questions. It's not just us kind of vibing out. I want you guys to really be a part of that conversation. So if you have some things that you want to ask tonight, that questions, you can bring those in. But Justin, would you mind kind of taking us out and get you guys' questions together for tonight's call at 8:00? My brothers.
Yeah, just I just want to kind of piggyback on what Jayson was saying. It's I'm just here to be able to share my experiences. And I know, through my experiences, it's not everybody, will be, helped through listening to my experiences. However, I want you to pay attention to your experiences. So your experiences are who you are, who God has created you. If he said he knew you before the foundation of the earth, right? So he already knew the things that you were going to go through. You're going through those things for a reason. So I just don't want you to negate anything that you've gone through. And I don't want you to set aside anything that you've had to experience and deal with. No matter how bad it may seem or appear, those are all things that make up, who you are. And you're given those as gifts. Those are gifts that you are to be able to help other people. And so, tonight, everyone needs to get prepared and be ready to not look and point the finger at anybody else, but look at yourself, because this is all about, who you are, who you want to become, and are you willing to be consistent in attaining that? So, just get ready. We're excited to be able to be here and have the platform to be able to help. So we need your help too. The same as you need our help, we need your help.
Well, I want everybody to unmute the line, guys. Unmute and just let them know if you're willing. That you're still
Willing, thank
Brilliant.
you.
Ready and
Thank you,
able.
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
Justin
So
and
much.
Jason.
And ready and able.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Auntie
you.
Pie.
For
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Thank you
Willing.
so much.
Thank
You
you.
are
Jason, thank you.
Amazing,
William,
amazing
thank
call.
you.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you,
thank you,
thank
thank you,
you.
Megan. Thank
guys.
you
and
for
Rachel.
always feeding us our good.
Sorry, I muted you and I muted everyone, Megan.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I just want to say thank you to the both of you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Tony, for sticking on, and Reagan and all of you guys. I love you very, very much. We'll see you back here at 8 o'clock. We're diving right in. So we're starting at exactly 8 o'clock tonight, guys, and we going for it. Okay. So bring your questions, and we're gonna talk to you guys. You know, we're gonna allow you to ask some questions as well. So I'll see you guys back here at 8 o'clock. Thank you. Have a fantastic day on purpose.